I told this country really, really yours, sir? What they did to brown people did to their own poor first, and originally in the States, working class whites were also enslaved, and no one talks about it today. Ever since the master came with the system of privilege, made the working whites the overseers, mulattoed the house, could put the darkest blacks in the field. That mind is with us still. $billion industry, skin cream and bleaching pills. And let's be honest, most people in my complexion to this very day still think they're better than the darker section. You say it's changed, then only educate me about Wilberforce, not about the Africans in Haiti who beat the armies of the British, Spanish and Napoleon. From the moment they stolen them, there was no controlling them. When I was in school, she said, no, you never fought for freedom. No, we freed you, and you were on your knees pleading. And what's more, did you know that we kind of saved you from the barbarism of Africa? You should be grateful when enough of our own people can't be bothered to read that they actually believed that we were swinging from trees. They don't know the Kingdom of Congo had embassies in Italy 500 years ago. Literally ain't heard of St. Maurice nor Septimus Severus. They ain't studying the past cause they think it's irrelevant, and attempts at pretending ancient Egyptians weren't African. Nothing more than pseudo-intellectual lies. They obviously ain't read what Aristotle and Herodotus said about people that they saw for their own eyes. And Egypt's been invaded since the fall of the pharaohs. Not once, not twice, but many, many times. So nobody wants to explain why so many statues are missing noses, even when them statues made of granite. It ain't one people alone mistaught about themselves. We live on Celtic land, but don't learn about the Celts. The same Irish people you characterize as stupid during the dark ages, some of the most educated living in Europe. And did you learn the numbers you count with every day was invented by Indian people? I bet you didn't. Or how many million Indians fought for Britain in both world wars? Still you got the cheek to call them immigrants. We don't learn about the Moors, of course. For some that knowledge dangerous. Is it a problem, the impact they had on the Renaissance? When people take power over another group, we minimize their achievements so we can make it feel true. So if you think Columbus was first to sail ocean blue, you probably believe Elvis invented rock and roll too. And oh, for the record, no doubt I believe in peace, but not for 1 second, and they'll turn the other cheek. They slap you, slap them back, take teeth. The only way a bully ever learn is getting beat. Fight fire with fire, nah, fire with water. See, the life-giving force is stronger than the destroyer. That's why these MCs can't speak to me. No, all men are not made equally. My brain's made of iron fiber, conducting the livest wire. My average grade's higher than Oxford or Cambridge require. I don't want credit because I got a message. I want credit because I'm the best MC.
Talking Points does not believe in white privilege.
Well, that's the end then. That's the end of the episode of the truths.
However, there is no question that African Americans have a much harder time succeeding in our society than whites do.
Fucking hell, Bill. That's confusing. There is no such thing as white privilege. However, it is worse to be black. Bill, like, Jesus, I'm getting confused. What's his next point going to be? But they deserve it.
Here are the facts. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate for black Americans is 11.4%. It's just over 5% for whites, 4.5% for Asians. So, do we have Asian privilege in America?
Don't be sarcastic, Bill.
88% of Asian Americans graduate from high school, compared to 86% for whites and just 69% for blacks. So there you go. That means 31% of African Americans have little chance to succeed in the free marketplace because they're uneducated. They're high school dropouts.
They're dropouts. They're layabouts. That might be as a result of social conditions that have an economic component that relate to race. Read it, Bill! Why don't you listen? I don't get a job on Bill's show doing the research, and if they go, Bill, you know, in Talking Point, you're planning to do that racist thing. Yes, I'm planning. It's not racist, but what? Well, anyway, we've done some research. Let me look at this. Jew. This is bullcrap. I'm not reading this on air. No!
If African American children do not learn those things, they will likely fail as adults. They will be poor. They will be angry. And they often will be looking to blame someone else.
If you want to do well, you won't go around acting and behaving in a way that's not, well, like me. Be a bit more like me, is what I will say, or be a bit more Asian. Those are your options. One caveat, the Asian American experience, historically, has not been nearly as tough as the African American experience. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I'm glad that it's you. There is one caveat. Yes, we didn't enslave Asian Americans. We were prejudiced and bigoted against early Chinese settlers. That's true. Slavery is unique.
and it has harmed black Americans to a degree that is still being felt today. But, in order to...
Can't say slavery was bad. But it's this key point.
In order to succeed in our competitive society, every American has to overcome the obstacles they face.
Fairness and justice, they're always talking about that as being like a really important American values, but here Bill contradicts that. No, you play with a card you're dealt, and if you were dealt the slave card, well, I'm afraid that's tough luck.
If you understand Judeo-Christian tradition, you know that Jesus preached widely about forgiveness. I know he would not be happy with the corruption in the American media.
I know for a fact that Jesus would not like corruption in the American media. Bill, how do you imagine Jesus, who, let's face it, was a bit of a hippie, would feel about some of these outrageous racist arguments that you put out there, your pro-corporate agenda, your constant condemnation of the poor and the vulnerable? You do not know the mind of Christ, Bill.
He wouldn't like that at all. The Nazarene loathed dishonesty.
Loathed dishonesty. I've been studying Jesus pretty hard now, and I picked up that the best way to interpret the message of this great mystical mind is by going on Fox News and being a bit of a bastard.
Factor tip of the day: in your life, strive to be fair.
Strive to be fair. Bill, you can't say that. Are you striving to be fair today, even? Yes, I was striving.
Surround yourself with quality people, and you will have a quality life.
Like me, I hang out with that crazy Judge Janine lady, and things are getting better and better.
Bomb them, keep bombing them, bomb them again and again.
She's just a joyous woman to be around. I wish Bill O'Reilly was my granddad. I've gone beyond hating him. He's too lovely. Granddad, what was that stuff that mad racist stuff you were saying on Fox yesterday? Oh, come on, that's just a bit of fun. Do you want to go in the garden?
There is absolutely no evidence, none at all, that Jesus was married to anyone or had any children. In the past, some have written that Jesus had brothers and sisters, but there's no evidence of that either. His family lived communally with other families, and at the time, if you were in that circumstance, everyone in your dwelling was referred to as a brother or sister.
Okay, so let's take that knowledge of this community thing where people live together and call each other brother and sister and turn it into the most selfish, individualistic, and judgmental value system in the history of man.
But that doesn't mean
we have to be nice.
The 8th commandment says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." That means you are not to say anything untrue about a fellow human being. But what about yourself or other things you may exaggerate? Every human being lies on occasion.
That's fine. Carry on with that.
Many of the deceits are trivial and unintentional.
Like, remember, for example, when I said I was in the Falklands War? Trivial. Or maybe when we blamed the citizens of Ferguson for the police shooting them dead in the street. Unintentional.
The singer Beyonce makes a video that is very explicit for children, particularly young girls between the ages of 10 and 14, who are vulnerable, don't know how to really process this. So I said, maybe this isn't a good thing. They came after me. You wrote almost the same thing. They came after you, yes. They being the liberal media. Why do they see themselves as a defender of all things Beyonce?
Who are these self-appointed arbiters who tell people what's right and wrong? I mean, where they get off thinking that they have a divine right to tell people, for example, that there should be a great big fence between America and Mexico, or that Muslims are dangerous. I mean, where the hell do these people... Oh, no, that's me.
But the vehemence and the personal attacks that come out of this toward me and toward you, that surprised me.
I mean, all we tried to do was isolate and attack an empowered black woman. And it seemed like some people didn't like us doing that.
I mean, what do you have invested in this Beyonce? What is...
Beyonce? What is it? He thinks it's like some sort of potent mist that floats through life, influencing consciousness and creating teen pregnancy. Oh, God, close the window, dear. The Beyonce is rising. Oh, man, independent, make your teenage pregnant.
Here's the point. She doesn't have to go there.
She doesn't have to
be
do
successful.
It, and she chose to do it.
She could be a trend setter.
Bill O'Reilly telling Beyonce, you could be a trend setter. Why don't you set a trend like me? What I'm trying to do, for example, is be like an old guy, criticizing everything, particularly young, attractive black women. Give it a go.
The president said in an interview with Glamour magazine that he can't listen to Beyonce with his daughters because it would embarrass him.
I mean, like, I don't want to be reductive, but it just is image after image of powerful black people. And Bill O'Reilly go, no, I don't like this. You could be forgiven for thinking Bill O'Reilly just doesn't want powerful black people.
I was surprised. I mean, the attacks. Even last night, the left-wing websites, O'Reilly and Huckabee's obsession with Beyonce, like we care about her.
Day 2 of me not caring about Beyonce includes this breakdown of why I don't care about Beyonce and why I don't find her appealing at all, and why I'd never imagine myself on my knees behind her going, could you love me? That's coming up after the break.
And the fact that Beyonce is black is not irrelevant either.
How is that relevant, though? If she is, like, I went after Eminem.
I went after him. Hey, Eminem. What, man? Stop it! Stop with those long, shouty poems you do, those brilliant cultural analyses, the way you've tapped into the psyche of lower-class American people and provided a voice to the world with a lyrical genius not seen since Jacobean Britain. Okay, Bill.
Because I just think he's vile. And then I went after Ludacris.
Ludacris! Yeah, stop injecting humor and lightness into the world of hip-hop. Okay, Bill.
But the black woman, then it gets into another zone, you're saying.
Today we're going to be with our friend and malevolent uncle, Bill O'Reilly, and he's going to teach us why everything in your life is your fault as an individual. There's no such thing as society, particularly not if you're a black person.
All right, so you say that the Republican Party is apathetic. Maybe, that might be true.
Every so often Bill just drops a facade and just goes, yeah.
I mean, I think they're more intimidated, though, than uncaring. I think they're afraid.
Intimidated by what?
I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid of black people.
Are black folks scared? Are we scary?
No. The white Republican power structure is afraid of black Americans.
Bill? What do you say?
They don't know how to treat them. They don't know how to speak to them.
Stop saying them, Bill. Stop saying them.
They don't know anything about the culture, and they don't want to be called a racist bigot, so they stay away.
But why does that make you scared as opposed to being interested in understanding?
Well, because I'm one of the primary propagators of these ideas, and my livelihood depends on these kind of divisions.
They feel it's not worth the trouble, the few votes they might siphon off.
Siphon off? It's not worth the trouble. That's how democracy works. We're not about to siphon off a few votes by caring about our fellow man, to whom we have a great debt. But it's not worth it. It's not worth it for a few votes, so just fuck it, just leave them.
To get involved with it, that's how they feel. I know that for a fact.
He knows that for a fact. I know that. I'm actually friends with people that are quite high up in the Republican Party, and that is it. I mean, that's again, Bill, actually, quite a lot of the time, Bill's telling you the absolute truth. It's not like Bill's a liar. It's just he believes in a perverted truth.
White privilege still exists today because even if you have an Ivy League degree, even if you have job experience, these stories are abound every day. You can have all the same credentials I can have, the same credentials as Bill O'Reilly, and you still get the call back for the job, and I don't.
But you have the good job.
Oh, we're talking me.
Yeah, you just said you. You have a good job.
I am one individual. Oprah is one individual.
Right.
Bill Cosby's one individual.
Barack Obama's one individual. You all have good jobs.
But these
All you individuals! Obama! Oprah! You've all got great jobs. So what is the fucking problem? You got your great jobs, now shut up!
The numbers bear out the fact that if you happen to have less melanin in your skin, the chances are that you'll do better. And
the odds are you'll do better, but it isn't because of white privilege.
Yeah, I agree. But it's for this new reason that I'm about to invent. This is going to be good.
What is it? Because you're smarter?
No.
Because you work harder?
You just asked me. You want me to answer?
Tell me why.
It's a collapse of the black family.
It's a collapse of the black family. Some reason, the black family, that thing, it collapsed. I don't know why it collapsed. It's not that there was any external pressure on it, or any condemnation, or unequal opportunities, or any of that. Just for no reason, the black family, it just went in like a souffle. Maybe someone opened the other door.